Hello and welcome to all beautiful souls out there. You're listening to the Restore My Soul podcast with Princess Millens, your favorite grief coach and emotional wellness specialist. In this space, we will help those who struggle with grief and loss and have real conversations about how to overcome it in every area of life. Through our personal stories, practical information, and wisdom from Princess and her special guests. We are here to educate, inspire, and empower you with the strategies you need in your emotional healing journey. We do not offer medical advice, but we believe that we can all learn to heal by creating a mindset to grow past our pain and push toward our purpose. Our goal is to remind you that grief is a journey and you do not have to walk it alone. No matter what the pain or loss is, you can be restored and live fully in your purpose. So let's push through the pain together as we share our stories of resilience, one episode at a time.
Hey, everybody. Thank you so much for joining us again for another episode of the Restore My Soul podcast. Welcome in all beautiful souls out there. I am Princess Millens, your favorite grief and emotional wellness specialist. And you know, we are here to make sure that you're educated, that you're empowered, you're inspired in your emotional wellness journey. I just thank you for being here today. And I just believe that we all have a story. We're all different in our areas and our walks of life, but we can create that mindset to push past our pain and walk into our God-given purpose. I am so excited for this interview today. I have a very, very, very special guest that is near and dear to my heart. Mia Perez is my special guest today, and she is phenomenal. She is a keynote speaker. She's a best-selling author, a designated master storyteller, if you listen to her right. And she has a background in entertainment and production. So outside of all of that, she is also a mindset and emotional performance strategist and a leader in the area of empowerment. So she birthed this organization called V.I.V.A, V-I-V-A, and it's a women's empowerment community. She founded it back in 2017. And through this platform, through her gifts, through her talents, she empowers women from all walks of life in the areas of vision, inspiration, voice, and acceptance in her own way. So she's known, she told me she pivoted a little bit, but she has been known as the bounce back queen. And we know that through her own life experiences, where she's here to share her story today, that she also teaches other people, other women, how to reframe their challenges, how to rebuild their confidence, and how to reimagine their new possibilities in their life. So I want to welcome today, and for our podcast, Mia Perez. Thank you so much for being here, sis. I'm so excited.
Princess, I'm so excited to be here as well. We've been talking about it for a while, so let's go. I'm so excited
I know.
let me tell you, just your intro alone, I was just listening to it. I'm like, I'm already inspired. I love that intro. So beautiful.
Absolutely. Thank you so much. So excited for you. Yeah, it's been a while coming, right? So now we are here, and I know you have a powerful story, and I want people to hear it. And I'm just excited to be able to have this conversation, really about how to bounce back when we feel like, we have lost it all, right? We have lost it all. I've been there. Mia, you've been there. I'm pretty sure many of the ones that are listening, that they've been there where they felt like they've lost it all. But how do you bounce back from all of that, right? So I know we're going to have a wonderful conversation and through your powerful story, right? So I want you to just start off by sharing some of the challenges, some of the obstacles, some of the difficulties, some of the pain that you've had to face as you have gone through your journey, because we heard your bio. We know you as this awesome woman of God, this awesome mindset strategist, right? But it takes a journey to get where we are, right? So tell us a little bit about your journey and getting to where you are right now.
Yes, yes, Princess. And I think one of the things that we just need to start off with, you and I know, is when we talk about bouncing back, it's because God is so faithful that he says he will take all things
Yes, he
and
will.
make them work for our good. So it was the good, it was the bad, it was the terrible, and he brings it all together. That's really the key to bouncing back, right? So that's the one thing that we just have to make mention up front, that it's really God redeeming our story that makes us bounce back. But if we were to think of where do you get the strength from in those
Mhm,
moments,
mhm,
that's where, like, in those valleys, it doesn't look like there's hope. It doesn't look like the potential of what could possibly be any good and become of this. And one of the things that I struggled with is not having, yes, hope in the Lord, but I didn't have the guidance outside of, let's say, conventional therapy. I didn't have what I am now to women, what
yeah.
you are to women, which is
Mhm,
that other side. That physically I could see someone who's been where I am
yeah.
right now, but they made it to the other side because now I have tangible hope of
Mm,
them coming
that's
back.
good.
Right? And I think that's altogether what brings us to our mission and who we are as women of empowerment that
Mhm,
truly look to have the women bounce back because we've been there. Now we're on the other side and we don't forget.
mm,
We didn't forget of who we were, the promises we made to God. If you help me, I will help the woman before I made that promise. So now, as we are, you and I, in this work, and many of the amazing women we know, we're able
mhm,
to reach back and
yeah.
help those women bounce back as well.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And that's what it's all about because we know that our stories are not just for us, right? It's for us to do something with it. And that thing that we have to do something with it is to empower and encourage someone else, our old self, right? We look at the person that we used to be. We look at the person that went through that challenges, or that pain or that trauma, whatever happened in our life, and just like you said, we wish we had had someone back then.
Mhm.
And then now we become that person. So it's not just for us, it's for us to go back and reach back and be able to help somebody else. I
Yeah.
like what you said about having that tangible hope,
Mhm.
right? That tangible hope to see the outcome or the aftermath of when you overcome something, right?
Right.
So the tangible hope. So tell me one of the biggest things that you had to bounce back from, and that now you can see that you yourself walk into that tangible hope that other people are seeing from you.
Right. So I will share this. I was the other day, it was on Thursday this past week. I went from being on a webinar, like a first I met with my mindset coach, then I went to a wealth webinar, and then I
Yeah.
picked up my daughter from school. I had to a city nearby, 30 minutes away, to a five-star hotel, and I'm having a meeting there, and
Wow.
the view's amazing. Everything's like, I mean, you just feel the energy of the people that, they're in a certain place in their life, right? And then I leave my daughter at her church rehearsals, and I head over to a women's transitional home for at-risk women. They house them for 24 months while they're, helping them. They left abusive relationships and things like that. So I look at my life and I'm talking to these women because it's
Mhm.
the first time they see me.
Yeah.
And I had to tell them that, and not from a place of, oh, look at me, look at where I am now. No, it was a place of, I want you to know that I've been in your shoes, maybe not at a transitional home,
Mm-hmm.
been where you are, where you don't even know how to start over. And the fact that I can have been at a 5-star hotel an hour and a half ago, and now I come to you,
Wow.
that is the power that I want them to see. I'm here physically with you because I want you to know, I want you to hear from me that I've
Yeah.
been where you are, that I've felt your, that I've cried your tears, and
Yeah.
there is hope. And one of the things that I shared with them is that I was reading them when I opened the chapter for Lead with V.I.V.A, which is the vision,
Yeah.
inspiration, voice, acceptance. Those are the 4 pillars on how I rebuilt my life. So I was sharing with them that there was this one time in the middle of just total chaos at the house, and I was in this like panic attack. I could barely breathe. You know, your body goes from cold to hot, and I take off in the car and I start driving. And I
Yeah.
went up this hill that's literally within my same neighborhood, but I never went up that hill because the only reason why you would go there is unless you live in those homes on that hill. But out of the blues, that one day, out of the blues, I'm driving up that particular hill. And as I'm going up, this is around 5:30 p.m. or so. As I'm going up, I'm finally, my body just like releases all the tension, and I finally start to cry. Because when I was at home, I couldn't. I was like, everything was just being built in. It was that feeling like you want to scream, but you can't. You're trying to hold it in. I was just leaving a traumatic experience. So now that I'm going up the hill, my body releases everything, and I just start sobbing. And I'm sobbing uncontrollably. And as I look, all of a sudden, like I try to wipe the tears off my eyes, and there's a spectacular sunset in front of me.
Oh, wow.
And it just takes my breath away as I'm crying in the middle of my tears. It just takes my breath away, and I'm looking at it. And Princess, I'm captivated by the beauty of that sunset. And I'm there lost for a few minutes, and then the sun starts going down. And then the darkness starts setting in. And when that happened, it hit me. I thought to myself, what happened to my light? I used to shine that beautiful. And now, sadly, I feel more comfortable with the darkness that's setting in.
Oh, wow.
And I didn't know what I was living in my life. I didn't know that that was an abusive relationship. But I will tell you this. I remember telling God, God, I don't even know what I'm going through. I know it's not right. I don't feel safe. I don't know what it is. I'd never been through anyone who did drugs or domestic violence or anything. But I said, Lord, if you get me out of this, if there's any way that
Yeah.
I can start my life over, I will serve you. I will create the space that I don't have right now, that I cannot find. I will create this space for women. And in that moment, Princess,
Yeah.
I saw, which I had already seen, but it didn't even pay attention to me. I saw like flickering lights, and it was a plane that was going over. And I've seen those planes always go over that same, like, because I lived in that area. And all of a sudden, I had this vision. I saw myself standing, and I saw a crowd of women, and they're clapping, and they're like in tears. And I just thought, God, like, what is this? And I didn't receive it at the time,
Yeah.
but it was the Lord telling me, this place where you are now, I'm going to take you. You're going to be flying to different cities, to different states, who knows, maybe different countries. And
Yeah.
you are the one carrying that hope to the women. That was 2013, I believe.
Yeah.
2013. 2018, I'm having one of my V.I.V.A women's events. And as I am talking to the crowd, I have a video of this. I'm talking to the crowd. I'm extending my hand with the microphone, and the women are clapping. They're crying. God
Yeah.
showed me the vision of who I was created to be in that hill.
Yeah. Yeah.
Fast forward, I lose my home through everything that happened. And guess
Yeah.
where I ended up living? I live right now on this hill.
Oh, my goodness. Wow.
So let me tell you, God takes you
Yes.
places from that story, those valleys. He will take you to the mountaintop. I am living here on the mountaintop, and
Yeah.
God is that good. God is
Yes,
that.
he is. Yes, he is. That is so wonderful. You had to go up the hill to get to the sunset,
Mhm.
right? And
Yes.
to see and and see, that's a whole word right there, Mia. That's a whole word, because we don't normally, we don't want to climb the hill. We don't want to go through the thing, right? We don't want to experience, of course, what sometimes we have to experience. But sometimes it's only when we have another perspective, about what we're going through. And for us being believers, we know that we have to pray and ask God to help us in the area, and to push through and do what we need to do, right? But it's wonderful how you used what was going on in your life, right? Not as an excuse to sidestep, or not as an excuse to back down or dumb yourself down, or pretend that you don't have a purpose in life, but you use that to make sure that you're helping other people as well. I love your perspectives on how you're able to not only empower the women at the transitional home, but you're able to empower even those that you were sitting at the 5-star hotel. You know what I'm saying? And so it's just a wonderful thing. What does empowerment mean to you? So I know I read, and I know you as an empowerment speaker, right? But what does that truly mean to you, and how does it how can it be helpful for other women that's listening?
Empowerment, and we need to be actually very careful with that word
Mm-hmm.
to be very specific about what kind of empowerment we're talking about, right? And if we're talking about the spiritual empowerment from God, that's
Yeah.
one thing, right?
Mm-hmm.
Because we can get caught up in the empowerment of the world. That's such a powerful word, and it's very
Mm-hmm.
redundant. Everybody uses
Mm-hmm.
it. But
Yes.
the true empowerment, when you're going through those difficult times, because let's be honest, Princess, you know this and I know this. Sometimes God is silent, and
Yeah.
that's piercing.
Yeah.
Like, that is
Yeah.
just like, God, like, where are you? Right? So it's in those times that you have to, for me, how, at least that I can say how I empowered myself is, like I said, Viva. I had to dare to dream again.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Had to have a vision. If you don't have a vision for what's to come, like, we have to blindly, I mean, if you have to just like cover your eyes and be blind, like the Bible
Yeah.
says, right? You have to walk by
Mm-hmm.
faith and not by sight. Because if I were to be looking at everything that was going on around me, there was no possible human way I was going to get out of that.
Yeah.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
Backstory to that real quick. I had went from every on domestic violence in the spectrum of abuse, every single one of them. When I lost all 3 businesses. I went from being the woman who had a $2 million home, thriving businesses, to losing
Yeah.
my home, almost homeless, bankruptcy. I ended up
Yeah.
on welfare, food stamps, all of that. So it's like when you have everything, you lose everything, and you don't even know how to get back up. It's a very lonely and dark place. And it was in those moments that I had to be like, okay, wait a minute. I need to dream again. I'm worthy of dreaming again.
Yeah.
And what does that dream look like? What does that vision look like? I had to find things and people that inspired me. That was the inspiration. I
Mm-hmm.
had to find a voice. And when my voice was stripped and I didn't have a voice myself, I found voices that
Yes.
spoke to me, that I identified with, that I resonated with. And then I had to, in the empowerment of it, I had to accept the fact that my life was not the way I planned it out to be, and forgiving myself for it. That was empowerment for me. It's like it's taking everything of the circumstances that have been thrown at me, and then being able to take them, and I can't say I laid them at the feet of Jesus at the time, because my spiritual walk is so much stronger now than it was back then, but I knew, at least I had an acceptance and a knowledge that it was only me being able to surrender things to God and asking
Absolutely.
for Him to be the one to
Mhm.
empower me. So
Yeah.
empowerment means those things to me, which is the pillars:
Yeah.
vision, inspiration, voice, acceptance. That's how. I empowered myself through God.
Absolutely. And it's a wonderful way for other women to be able to do the same because I can relate to you as far as being able to just try to find that voice, the voice that you need in the season that you need it. And a lot of times when you're going through, you lose, it's like you lose your voice, like you are powerless in a way, and your identity sometimes and what you have to say, you feel like you don't have any value, especially if you're in a point where you feel like you've lost it all. And that's the thing, some of us go through the seasons where we definitely have lost it all, or we feel like we are there and we just don't know what to do, right? And so I like the fact that you said something about we have to find our voice. We have to find the voice that will help us or empower us, to educate us, to inspire us to bounce back and become resilient to those things that almost took us out, right? We have to
Right.
find that voice, right? And I'm honored, and I know that you are honored as well, to be a voice that people can glean from, that they can learn from, and that they can be empowered from. But as we are looking to find a voice to help us, then we have to make sure that we find our own voice, to know that we are powerful and we have a purpose and God has a plan for our lives too, right? And so
Absolutely.
I love that about finding the voice. So
Let me
if,
add this. Let
yeah,
me add
go ahead.
this.
Yes.
A lot of times we make the mistake of thinking,
Mhm.
when I finally overcome this, when I master this, when I fully heal,
Yeah.
then God can use me.
Come on.
And you know
Yeah.
what? God didn't
Yeah.
wait. When I had my first V.I.V.A event was in 2017 in my backyard. And 3 days before, only 10 women had signed up, or not signed up, 10 women were supposed to come. And that was like the 3 people speaking, the girl helping me put everything together, my mom, my roommate. It's like, it was just the people organizing it.
Yeah.
At I just went forward and I pushed, and 25 women still showed up. I didn't feel worthy of sharing my
Yeah.
story yet. I was still in court, stuck for 5 years.
Mhm.
I couldn't even use my voice. That's what I mean. I could have sat on the excuse of saying, "Wait a minute, I can go to jail if I start speaking. That's a court order." But I
Yeah.
said, "Okay, I'll create events because women will heal from this." So I just
Yeah.
created the event. I had other women come and they spoke because it wasn't me speaking now, it was them. So whoever it is, whatever it is that I hope that who listens to this, whatever it is that they go through, is that they
Mhm.
understand, don't wait to be the finished product.
Mhm.
Find the people that speak into your life, that resonate, that help you find your voice.
Mhm.
Start walking in your power.
Yeah.
Don't wait for it.
Yeah. That's beautiful and that's wonderful. And that's so important to know, because a lot of times we go through so many things, right?
Mhm.
And we don't feel worthy. We don't feel worthy of the call. We think that God can't use us as we are,
Right.
right? But you can pick a million people out of the Bible, right? And know that God uses us just where we are, that we are worthy to be used by Him. So I thank you for adding that to that, because I know it might be somebody out there listening that they're at a point where they've lost it all. They might be the one that's in a abusive relationship. They might be the one who, just like me, have lost parents, children, things like that, and they just don't know. They're stuck in their pain. They're stuck in their loss. They're stuck in that place in life, and they just don't know where to go. But that is so encouraging to understand that we can still be used, right?
And that
And
is where,
so, yeah,
Princess, I'll tell you this, that's where God used me the most. When I
yeah,
was still in that
in it,
place, I was stuck in
yeah,
court, I would turn Facebook Live on, and I would just talk to people because I needed people to know
yeah,
what it really felt like, and
yeah,
that gave me hope. So, I love what you're saying because don't wait to be
mhm,
the finished product. Don't disqualify
mhm,
yourself because you're not
mhm,
out of that pain yet. Because
mhm,
let me tell you, sometimes when we're in pain, that's when God uses us the most because we can
yeah,
speak from that place of pain, we speak life into people. People identify themselves, and then they don't feel alone anymore in the world. I love that you said that.
Yeah, and absolutely, because we can continue to be stuck, and at some point, I believe it's a choice. It's a
Mm,
choice to be stuck. We a lot of times we don't have control over what happens to us sometimes, but we do have a choice to remain stuck in where we are, right? And so this just has been such a powerful conversation, and just knowing that that we can bounce back, we
mm,
can be resilient in those things that is meant to distract us, deter us, destroy us, right?
mm.
And that we can make sure that we kind of press through and push through to our purpose. And I am so glad that you were here today, and I just want to kind of end this out by you just saying just a few words to encourage somebody today who they feel like they're stuck, they feel like all hope is lost, they feel like they don't have a voice, they feel like that they have lost it all. What would you say to that woman today?
I would first I would first have to say it's okay. Like, it's okay to feel the way
I
that you
love
do,
it. Yeah.
because I think a lot of the times we're so hard on ourselves, right? We judge ourselves. We already feel being judged by the world, and then we judge ourselves. And I would ask you to give yourself grace, give yourself love. And I feel the most powerful thing is I do this in the women that I work with, is to do this exercise and go back into excuse me, go back into the room where that little girl was sitting when you were little.
Mm, mm,
Go and sit with her on that bed. Sit on the bed with her and just talk to her, and talk to her with so much love and compassion and forgiveness. And I think if we see ourselves in that way, we're able to not be so hard on ourselves. And we're
mm,
able to inspire, like, you can speak life over yourself. Don't wait for people to speak life over you. You can do it.
mm,
And if we come from that place, I think that that's the thing. And to again look for women like Princess, like myself, like women that have a story, that have overcome, they're on the other side, because we will be your voice for you. That if you don't even have faith right now, borrow our faith and we will show you the way. Find the podcast that speak into your life and just grab a hold of God. 'Cause let me tell you, God
mm.
never, ever lets you down, ever.
Absolutely. He never lets you down, right? And I believe that there is healing. There's healing when we speak life over ourselves. There's healing even when we're doing the work and we don't feel worthy. We don't feel like we have the strength or whatever. That's healing for us as well.
Mhm.
So that's what I found, that even when I was doing stuff and I wasn't fully out of the danger of what it was going on in my life, I was not fully healed from that thing. I wasn't fully over it, if you want to say that. But there's a healing when you begin to speak, when you begin to not hold things in, when you begin to move in your purpose. Along the way, there's healing for you too.
Mhm.
So I'm just so excited. So thankful for you being here today, Mia.
Thank
And this was a long time coming. I'm so glad we had this conversation about how you bounce back when you feel like you've lost it all, right? And so before we get out of here, I want you to just quickly tell everybody how to connect with you on social media or whatever you need to tell them, and how they can, connect with you.
Yes, yes, of course. Well, they can find me on Instagram at miaperez.official, and Mia Perez speaks, or yeah, on Instagram. You can connect with me there. Just go ahead and request me as a friend, send me a little message, and I'd love to stay connected. I will be starting my podcast up again soon as well. And yes, I'm excited to serve. I think 2024 is going to be a year of a lot of healing and revealing for a lot of people of what that next step and what God wants from you. So dream again, dream bigger. and just never give up.
Yeah. Well, thank you again so much, Mia, for being here. And I hope you will come back maybe one time and we'll do something else. But such a pleasure to finally have you on the show.
Absolutely. Thank you so much.
Absolutely. Well, thank you all so much for being here on this episode of Restore My Soul podcast. Thank you so much. Thanks for Mia for being here and to be able to share her testimony and being able to empower us in a way of letting us know that there is life after your pain. There's life after trauma, is life after the things that you're going through. And when you feel like you have lost it all, you can certainly bounce back from it. So thank you also for joining me today. Make sure that you continue to follow me on all social media at Princess Millens and my website at princessmillens.com. Y'all remember that grief is a journey, but you don't have to walk it alone. Okay. We'll see you in the next episode of the Restore My Soul podcast.
Thank you for joining another episode of Restore My Soul podcast. Be sure to listen and watch each week as we continue the conversation on how to bounce back from the setback of grief and loss and to become resilient so that you too can thrive in life. Don't forget to like and subscribe so that you don't miss out on any new episodes. And share this with as many people as possible so they can be encouraged in their emotional wellness journey. We invite you to follow Princess Millens on all social media platforms and on the website at princessmillens.com. Thank you for listening, and we'll see you in the next episode of the Restore My Soul podcast.